Hello friends, welcome to Shauna Stitches. I'm Shauna and this is my crafty podcast where I talk about all the things I've been working on lately. Today is September 14th, 2022, and this is episode number 56. I'm going to put this at the very beginning because I always forget to say it, but you can find me on other social media platforms as Shauna Stitches on both Ravelry and Instagram, and of course YouTube here where you're watching this. I'm recording with my earbuds in again today because I think the sound quality is louder, but it doesn't seem to filter out the background noise much. So you'll probably hear some dog nails clicking on the floor every now and then. I am wearing the Ranunculus top, sweater, whatever you want to call it. This is knit out of Knit Picks Lindy chain. And it makes for a great summer top in this lightweight linen and cotton blend. I'm drinking wine today because it's one of those days. And this is in my very special glass that says Shauna on it. I was just thinking, I can't remember if this is from my bachelorette party or my wedding. I think it was the wedding. Either way, it's wedding related. So it has some happy memories in with it. And yes, white wine, because like I said, it's been one of those days. I'm disheveled looking already. I do have quite a lot to show you, and apparently Fiona wants to say hello. She probably wonders who the heck I'm talking to. Oh, hi, kisses. You being a cute girl? Fiona's going to be going in for some surgery real soon, so you'll think some happy thoughts for her on that. She has a little growth under her armpit that has to be removed. Oh, I'm getting into life stuff. I haven't even showed knitting yet. Let me show you some finished objects because I have some. The first one is or was a very old whip. I started this, I think it was December 26th, 2021, and it's the Sockhead Cowl, which I adapted to have both a fingering weight merino cashmere yarn with a mohair. You can see that fuzzy halo. I held them double. I used the same needle size. I think the same needle size the pattern called for. Either way, I used a 3.25 millimeter. I'm going to try this on without knocking an earbud out. Oh, the mohair sticking to me. So I've made this pattern before, but never with mohair. And I made this to wear while I'm at work during the cold winter months. So it's finally done, which makes me very happy. So this will be going to work with me to sit in my locker for when I need it. And I have no doubt that it's going to really come in handy. I was just thinking, I have a very old knit hat that I wear at work, and if I like this, if I'm happy with the mohair and I find it keeps me warm, I'd love to get this blend of yarns together again to make a work hat. I have a couple hats with mohair. I'm trying to think. No, maybe just one hat with mohair and no cowls currently with mohair, but I feel like it blocks the wind better. So if that's the case, I would definitely like to get a hat made out of that because it does get quite windy here on the Oregon coast where I'm from. Oh my gosh, so much mohair. I forgot to say, I did see quite the influx of new subscribers. So thank you everyone that is here. I'm so happy to have you here, and welcome to my little corner of YouTube. All right. It's much too hot for that today, although we are definitely starting to experience some fall weather for sure. We're not getting too hot during the day, but it's getting quite chilly at night. The second finished object that I have is one that you never even saw as a whip. It looks kind of crazy like this, but this is the Musselburgh. I can't say it because I don't have the right accent. Us Western speakers have said Musselburgh for a long time. I know that's wrong, but Musselburgh by, I believe it's Ysolda Teague. All the links to Ravelry pages with all the correct information will be down below. And anyway, so for this hat, you cast on at one end you increase and you knit a big long tube until you get to the decreases, and then you don't really bind off your yarn, but you stop your yarn and you weave in the ends. I did 5 different colors for this. So I actually did a fade, which in some colors is easier to see than others. Probably the easiest one to see is here. I absolutely love how this fade turned out because it went from this purpley gray to a variegated pink and gray, and they're both by the same dyer, which I cannot remember for the life of me. Again, it will be down below. But I received this set as a gift from a friend years ago, and it just sat in stash. And then I'm gonna totally get this wrong. I think it's Circle Toes on Instagram and SM Carn on Instagram. We're doing the Monster Musselburgh along. Of course I say Musselburgh along. And you just had to use more than one yarn. So I pulled this out of stash, and I'm sure that this set must have come with 5 colors because 5 20-gram minis is 100 grams. But all I could find were the first 4 colors. So I just happened to have this other pink in stash, and I thought it went pretty well. So that's what it ended up being or using. These aren't the easiest things to turn inside out. At least I struggle with it. Maybe I'm the only one. But anyway, you take your tube and you put one end inside the other. Once it's there, it's not bad because you just leave it, but getting it there, at least for me, I struggle. Anyway, so then it looks something like this. And I guess let me try it on. Why not? I've already messed up my hair. So you can wear it slouchy. I don't know, hopefully you're seeing the back of my head, which isn't really the way I wear a beanie. Or you can wear it with the brim folded up for more of a beanie style. I like this because my ears tend to get really cold and I get these terrible headaches and earaches with cold wind, so that helps block it a little bit better. But anyway, so there is one side of the hat. And then all you do to have your second hat is flip it inside out. And then if you roll the brim, you have a completely different look. Now, obviously, if I would have used very different colors, the hats would look quite different, but it still gives you 2 really distinct looks. And especially if you wear it the slouchy style, it will really give you 2 pretty different looks. So yeah, that's going to be a gift. So hopefully I will not just put it aside and forget that it exists because I'm thinking probably Christmas. All right, I do have another finished object to show you. I've really been on a roll. So I showed you this last time as a whip. It's the Shawlography, which was last year's Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. And I picked this up. Let's see, actually from the other end. When I showed you last, I know that I was on, well, I was either on this brown stripe or this brown stripe. I think it was the first one here. I didn't make it very far into the border before getting bored and moving on to something else. Let me stand up for a second and I will show you a better view. There you are. It's a big shawl. I am 5'10" and it goes well beyond my arm span, my wingspan. So the one thing that I did differently on this shawl than, I'm sure maybe someone else did this, but than anyone that I know, is that I used a random number generator to pick the order of the colors on the bottom. So I can't remember the name of the website, but there's one where you go and you can actually put names or categories into it, and it's a little spinny dial. So I just entered all the names of my colors and would spin the dial, and as soon as it picked a color, I'd remove it. So then the next time it's only picking from 4 colors, 3 colors, 2 colors, etc. And The only place where I chose to do something different than what it told me was this little brown, yellow, brown stripe right here, because the next color it picked was yellow. And I was like, I already don't love that it kind of did that. There's a couple sections where it's sort of a color sandwich, if you will. And I just didn't want it to continue too much. But either way, every 5 color section only has the 5 colors. So I don't know. It just made it different. I liked it. So I haven't even worn this yet. I did block this by hanging it on my clothesline, and I think it blocked out really nice. It's obviously quite large, and not the best at styling these things, but I think it really turned out great, and I'm super excited for the mystery knit along this year because I just love it. I know I said this before, but these are not my normal colors, and I'm so happy with it. If I would have picked my normal colors, this would be like pinks and grays. I never knit with brown, and this brown is just the most wonderful chocolatey brown. It's just, can I say it's yummy? I mean, I didn't eat it, but I really like it. And then of course I love the pop of bright yellow, the mint green. My shrimps are not pink, so I have like chocolatey coils, much better than pink shrimps. That being said, when you see my picks for this year, they're very up my alley. So I thought I was going to have that yarn already, but I don't yet. So I will show that as soon as I get it. I have one more finished object to show you. And this is the Gramps cardigan that I knit for my husband. This has actually been done for a few weeks now, but I forgot to show it because it got put away and out of sight, out of mind. I knit this completely to pattern, and I know I mentioned the woes of elbow patches. So the pattern has you knit a swatch, for lack of a better term, an elbow pad shaped swatch, and then sew it on, but it gives you like no directions how to do that at all. I did it and I tried knitting it on multiple times and I failed. So I ended up duplicate stitching it on. It makes for a very, very padded and sturdy elbow. One thing's for sure is that this will not wear out anytime soon. And I think it looks really nice. I might have picked a different elbow shape, but generally I followed what I would have knitted for the elbow patch, except for the pattern had me use a smaller needle size, and obviously when you're duplicate stitching, it's the same size as it would be for the stitch. So that's probably the only difference. I did take some pictures of my husband wearing this. He looks very good in it. So I will pop those in here. And I honestly just can't wait for him to wear it because, I mean, I guess it's not really that weather yet, but he's a teacher and this definitely screams teacher to me. So I like it. That is all of the finished objects that I have to share with you today. It was a lot. When I was talking about my Stephen West shawl, I cast that on after the last episode and I knit exclusively that until it was done. I knew if I set it down again, it just wasn't going to be a good thing. So now my needles are free and I'm so ready for October 6th for the next clue to come out. Wine break. All right, the next thing I have to show you is in this really awesome project bag. I mentioned the Oregon coast, and if you've ever been probably to any coast, but certainly the Oregon coast, we have more than our share of seagulls. And when I saw this Bags by Awesome Granny bag, I just had to have it. I have resisted all of her bags up to this point, and I just had to. Of course, it's quite nice that there is orange lining. Might not be my favorite color of orange, but it does match the beaks really well, and I love orange, so it's awesome. I haven't used it yet, but I love that it comes with this ring that you can attach if I could grab it, you can attach a progress keeper on there and then a handle to carry it by, which is quite nice. The project I have in here is a new cast on. This is the Travel Mode 2.0. I'm forgetting the designer's name, but I will put that down here. And I am knitting this out of a 2021 advent calendar, finally. So I'm really loving this knit. It's super, I mean, I guess it's not mindless. Like, you do have to look at the pattern, but once you have a section going, it's super easy. I believe that this is completely to the width it's going to be already. And then, as you see here, this side is kind of starting to straighten out. It will be more obvious once I get more colors added. So I'm going in the order that the advent calendar came in. It's by A Yarn to Die For Designs. And I believe she still has some advent calendars in her Etsy shop for this year. So if you're interested in that, you haven't had one or gotten one yet, I've already ordered, I think, 2, plus a fiber. So I'm done. Anyway, this is day 1. The blue is day 2. Purple's day 3. There's a tiny little section here, which is technically section 4, that little line right there. Super hard to see, but I reused day 1. And then section 5 technically is day 4. This one's reminding me of like mint chocolate chip ice cream. I'm all about the desserts today. I think my Shawlography reminds me of chocolate. This is ice cream. I don't know. I have a sweet tooth apparently. But yeah, I'm super enjoying this, and I have kept all of the advents in their day little envelope. So reopening them now is just almost like having a new advent, because of course I don't remember the colors of the yarn. So that has been super fun, and yeah, I'm really enjoying that. The other thing that I cast on, because yep, there's 2, is the Week Under Light. So I have finally cast this on out of my Handspun. I have the first cake here. This started as 160 grams, and I think I'm down to about 100 now. So this is roughly 60 grams of knitting. And this is the side that you knit it on. You knit it, but the actual right side of the sweater is going to be this side that has that little slip stitch detail in the center. And I think I like it. It's very busy. It did come from a combo spin, so of course I knew it was going to be fairly busy. But I think once I start to see more of the fabric and not just this tiny little bit, I will like it more. Don't get me wrong, I don't dislike it. And knitting with my Handspun is quite nice. I actually was just thinking how soft this is. And although the yarn feels just a little bit thicker than a fingering weight to me, just barely, or maybe I guess a heavy fingering weight, the fabric that it's knitting is quite nice. I think this would have been perfect in a sport weight project, but since this has a lot of ease, I'm knitting it's the 48 inch, which will give me 11 inches of positive ease if I'm on gauge, which I did do a gauge swatch, so it should be. But I always figure when something's that big, I have a little wiggle room if I'm not quite on gauge. As long as I'm not like way too big, which doesn't tend to be my issue, everything will be fine. So just so you can see what the slip stitch looks on the back side, it has little different colors in there. So yeah, I am enjoying it a lot, actually. It's super fun to watch the colors change and just see how it knits up. What else? I did start a spinning project, which it's on my wheel, so I'm not going to bring that over here, but I did take a couple photos. I am spinning from a unspun single, like a super, I think it's super bulky is the classification of the actual yarn. So it's sold as yarn, but I am just kind of untwisting it. So if you're familiar with a long draw, or even just a strand of plied yarn. If you twist opposite directions a section, you'll see that it sort of untwists, unwinds, and if it's plied, you can see the different plies. But in this bulky yarn, which is not plied, you just untwist it, and then I'm able to draft it out a little bit, so pre-draft. And I'm spinning very fine, finer than I did for my Weekender Light, in hopes of getting a 3-ply sock yarn. So I divided the 100 and I think it was 104 grams, 103 grams that the ball of yarn came from. I divided that into 3 equal pieces, and I'm just spinning. I'll spin it to 3 separate bobbins and then ply it. Because the yarn, I don't think it follows a pattern, as in like, obviously it's just white and blue as you've seen from the picture, but I don't think the white sections are exactly the same size or the blue sections. And I hope that it ends up looking kind of like a fractal, even though there's no real way to do a true fractal. I'm just hoping that as the 3 plies ply together, you will see different colors. I mean, I guess it would be kind of cool too if it just followed a striping sequence, but since I didn't break the yarn vertical wise, I broke it, I don't know how to explain that, into thirds, you know, just equal thirds by ripping it apart. There's no way that it's going to follow the same sequence. So it should match up in places, and it should not match up in lots of places. So that'll be interesting. If it all works out, it will be a sock yarn for my husband. If it doesn't work out, it will be a hat yarn for my husband, because either way, it will be a usable yarn. The blend is 100% wool, and it just says wool. It doesn't tell me what type. So I have no clue about that. I feel like because I'm spinning so fine, it feels a bit coarse, but when I squeeze the singles on the bobbin, it still feels soft. So either way, I think it's going to be usable. And for socks, you would want something sturdy anyway. And my husband has never once complained about a yarn being itchy. So even if it becomes a hat, I think it'll be absolutely fine. So that is all of the crafting that I have to share. I guess one other crafty related thing. I have convinced my mom to join in the mystery shawl knit along, the Stephen West one, with me. And as an early Christmas present, I have bought all of the supplies for her, because she knows how to knit. She actually knit when I was young quite a lot, and then hasn't knit really much in years. And so I bought her the yarn, a project bag, the needle, a cable needle, some stitch markers. What else? I think that's about it. Anyway, she's going to be ready to go. And so that's an early Christmas present for her. And when I am able to show you the yarn, you're going to be blown away by her color choices. I sent her that PDF of Stephen West kits, and I told her to pick out a kit that she liked. And then I went to Knit Picks and I found similar colored yarns. She picked a Knit Pick stroll, which, like I said, I will show next time. But I'm actually really jealous of her colors. They are not colors I would have picked ever. But now I'm thinking, when I do something like this again, I'm going to show her all the kits and tell her to pick her favorites. And then I'm just going to go with those colors because, yeah, much better than mine, I think, personally. But it'll be really fun to see them both knit up. Hopefully she will actually knit it, because, I don't know, she's not motivated to knit like I am. So anyway, that is all the crafting for sure. Into a little bit of life stuff. I mentioned earlier that Fiona is going to have surgery later in the month. Actually, I think exactly a week from today. And like I said, it's just a removal of a growth that she has in her armpit. It shouldn't be a big deal, but they do have to put her under anesthesia. And they told me on the last vet visit that she has developed a heart murmur. And I know that A, the older that they get, but also B, having heart issues, that that can be more troublesome. So I'm hoping everything goes well there. Then the other issue is Rudy, which I've mentioned before, and things are not going well. In fact, I just, prior to filming this, tried to call the vet's office and they were closed for lunch. So I'm going to call them back and make an appointment for him. He doesn't want to eat. He's losing a bunch of weight. He doesn't want to get up and go outside. He yeah, he's not doing well. He's been sleeping, and if I carry him outside to go to the bathroom and I set him down, no matter how gently I set him down, he's wobbling. I don't know, it's not good. So I'm going to try and get him to the vet for that. I'm optimistic that they can hopefully make things better, but I also have to come to the realization that he's not getting any younger, so that sucks. On top of that, I have worked my very last night shift for a while. We pick shifts 4 months in advance or in 4-month rotations. So for at least the next 4 months, I will be working day shift. And I've said this before, but I have so many mixed emotions. I have a bit of anxiety going into tomorrow. I know how to do my job, but I'll be working with new and different people and more people, and just the amount of people that are out during the day versus out at night. Things are going to be different. So I'm hoping that all goes well. It's going to be quite the transition to switch from working nights to working days. For the simple fact is I am not a morning person, and I have to set my alarm for about 3:45 in the morning. And that is stinking early, real early. And yep, I'll still be on 12-hour shifts. So just really long days. And I don't know why it seems like it goes by faster at night. Maybe I will not think that once I get started, but it is quite a difference because I've been working night shift for the last 2 years. So definitely something to adjust to. That being said, hopefully I feel like I have more energy. Hopefully I have the inkling to podcast more often. I knew going into this set of days off that I wanted to podcast, and I got up this morning and I just didn't want to. Very happy that I've done it now. I definitely got into it once I started pulling out my projects, but sitting and knitting and watching other podcasts just was a bit more inviting when I'm feeling kind of blah. So yes, anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I can't think of any other life stuff. There might be some other little things, but those are the big things. Wish me luck in getting started on day shift and that I can wake up on time. Probably what will happen is that I wake up way early because I'm just anticipating the alarm going off. So I think that's it for now. I will podcast again in a week or several. Who knows, right? I don't really have much of a schedule, but I will podcast again with some progress and updates. I will definitely podcast when I have my yarn to show you. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Bye.